Welcome.
Hello.
Just going to wait a few more minutes to get everybody in here.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us today.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to see you. Awesome.
Thank you.
Need a couple minutes to get myself set up. Jade, how did you hear about the class?
It could be that there's a man in my town that collects interesting workshops and things that are happening. He sends a newsletter out a couple times a month.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and so I'm very interested in breathing.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Took the class last year, so this one I was like, very cool. Thank you for offering it.
Wonderful. Thanks for being here. Excited to have more people this year. I've since COVID hit, my sister Mindy and I, who's on here, we've been doing it with a couple other people every Wednesday at 11, practicing for a couple years now. So I've been really inspired come the beginning of this year to just put this out there more, because we all need as many tools as we can get to be happy and healthy in the world right now. So it's wonderful to have more people interested. Welcome, Anna. Just going to give a few more minutes for everybody to join. And if you want to, you can type in the chat where you're from, or just let us know where you're tuning in from. Stephanie, where are you tuning in from?
Flamingo Heights, the Flamingo Heights, Yucca Valley.
Nice. Stephanie's in our local town here where I live, where the Institute of Mental Physics began in 1941 out here. It's the Western Hemisphere's largest and oldest retreat center.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we'll get it.
What's it called?
Well, it's called the Institute of Mental Physics, but it also goes by the Joshua Tree Retreat Center. Hi, Lori. Are you taking your breath class from the hospital today?
Why not?
You are such a trooper.
Place to do it.
I love it. I love it. Thanks for joining in. So we're going to go, I'm going to give you just a little bit of the history of where the teachings come from and all of that. And then I'll demonstrate the breath work, and then we'll practice each one of them as we go along. And then at 10:45, we'll get off, take a 15-minute break. If you need to go at that time, you can. But if you want to get back on at 11 and do a half-hour straight through practice with the voice of the master teacher, we do that every Wednesday at 11. So you can, it might be too much for you, the hour and 45 minutes, or you might feel energized and inspired to hop on. Either way, we're here every Wednesday at 11 just to practice. Once you get down the mechanics of the breath work. And Mindy, is there anything that you would like to share from your last couple years of doing these?
I love the breath work. It has changed my life, honestly. Like, the practice just helps energy move, and I feel so much better every time I do the practice. There's a saying, it says it ignites the fire within fires inside you. So that very much speaks to me of just awakening my soul. And it feels so good.
Thank you, Mindy. Yeah. Well, my name is Jody Curtis. For those of you who don't know me, I have been practicing the science of mental physics, breath work, and spiritual lessons since I found it in 2009. And I had come out of having stage 4 blood cancer. I went through heavy duty chemo. I went through a really, really low point in my life health-wise. and the doctor said I would not be able to have children. And I was really just like going through the Western hospital process and all of that. I mean, my body turned gray. I lost my toenails, turned black. I was just depleted. And around the same time, my dad died of COPD, not being able to breathe. And I was guided out here to the desert in the middle of nowhere to work at this place called the Institute of Mental Physics. I didn't even know what it was. I was just drawn here and bought a house sight unseen to move from LA after 21 years to the middle of the Mojave Desert to figure out what this thing was called mental physics. I began working at the Institute, just helping book spiritual retreats and different things like that. At the same time, I began uncovering all these amazing teachings from that were stored in the attic for like a lot of years. There was really not that much going on at the time when I got there, but in its heyday, there was, 300,000 students and reverends, and it was just a really happening place. And in other countries, it still is being practiced in India. There's a huge following, and they call it Brahma Vidya, which means the science of the knowledge of the divine. So mental physics there's a lot of, there's the 8 key breaths, which we're going to learn and practice today. That's the core breath work of the course that you can go on and practice. And if that's all you ever did, it would change your life immensely. But there are other teachings that go on after that. There's 26 weekly lessons called the Initiate Group Course that are spiritual lessons that go along with the breath work. Then there's another 123 lessons after that called the Inner Chamber. And then there is the 2 or 3 year preceptor teacher training course. So I went all the way through that and became a reverend of the teachings, and then mainly have just been sharing the bulk of the breath work and everything. But there are, if you're called to this, there's a lot of other teachings. These go back thousands of years, passed down from master to student in the monasteries of Tibet. And after we get centered in a meditative state, I'll go a little bit more into the history of it and everything like that. And then I'll give you some resources at the end if you are called to research more. So I'm going to be recording this. I'm going to set it on, let me do that right now. I'll set it on speaker view. So that means it'll just record mainly my video that I'm going to use, chop it up for some different things in the future. If you ask a question or have a comment or something, it'll show you on the screen. But if you would prefer not to ever have that be out there, you can just let me know. It's no problem. And go ahead and use the chat if you need to. We'll have to be muted during the breath work because it makes a lot of noise when we're all breathing. But please feel free to just unmute if you have any questions or type in the chat, and then I'll just check that periodically. Okay. Anybody have anything that you'd like to say before we get into it here? Any questions, comments?
Just have a question. Will we get a copy of the the recording replay or no?
Sure, I can give you a copy of the recording.
Thank you. Because I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I can be here the whole time. That's why I want to make sure I catch up. Thank
Sure,
you.
I can actually put a copy of the recording in the Eventbrite page, and also I'll put it in the places that you guys signed up for the course, so you'll be able to find it, or you can just email me and I'll make sure you get a copy.
So can you email it to the people who registered?
Sure.
You have that information already. Thank you.
Yeah, I can do that. Okay. So before we get into everything, let's just get ourselves centered and present in this moment, and giving ourselves permission to just relax and open our mind and heart to an inner adventure, something brand new and unique that you might not have experienced before. The science of mental physics is not a religion. It is a multi-denominational philosophy of thought It is the bridging of science and spirituality. And as I mentioned, it's been passed down for thousands of years. So what Ding Lamé, the teacher, says that brought the teachings to the West is that it helps unlock the holy books of the world. So whatever your religion, this can help take you deeper inside yourself and deeper inside your own understanding of what you believe. So I teach them exactly the way they were taught to me, because I feel that it's very important, considering they're thousands of years old, passed down, exactly the way that they were taught. So the language is from the 1920s. It's not very modern at times, but it's still incredibly effective. And one last thing, welcome, Tracy. The science of mental physics is a science of feeling. And as I mentioned, it's in Brahma Vidya in India, it's the science of the knowledge of the divine. So as we are doing the breath work, you just want to pay attention inside yourself. Each of these breaths that we do with the affirmations that follow, just feel inside yourself what each of these breaths are doing, how they're activating your cells and mixing and melding within your body. Okay. Well, I don't want to talk too much before we get going into the silence. So let's sit and begin to get centered and take some deep breaths in. For the breath work in mental physics, we'll be breathing all the way down. We'll be breathing through the nose, because when you breathe through the nose, there's actually filters in your brain that sorts everything and brings it where it needs to go. In the teachings of mental physics, Edwin Ding Lamé says that mouth breathers are like on their way to death, basically, is how he says it, because there's no filters and everything when you're gulping air through your mouth. So I know there are cases where people's sinuses are blocked and things like that, but you can actually improve the passage of air and improve your sinus cavities and everything as you go on with the breath work. So just start where you are and you'll see improvements as time goes on. So we'll be breathing in through the nose, down into the belly, then into the middle chest, upper chest, and throat. Okay. So for now, just get quiet and centered inside yourself. Knowing that there's nowhere you need to go right now, nothing you need to do except just be present in your body, in your mind, in your awareness, in your heart. Setting your own intention for the class today. What do you hope to gain from the class? Is there something that you hope to release today? Mental physics teaches that whatever the creator is, we are in human form. It's like an apple tree expresses as God in the form of an apple tree, or a dog expresses as the creator in dog form. We are the creator in human form, living in a world of pure potential. So set your intention for a breakthrough today. And all the prayers and things I'm going to say are from the teachings from the 1920s. So as I mentioned, the languaging is a little bit different. almighty and eternal fount of wisdom, grant us knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, that we may speak here words of truth, love, and hope. We ask for light from the higher spheres. And may our guides guard and control our mind and tongue, so that nothing but the truth may here be given. And that the good seed sown may find fertile spots to live and grow. And that those who are now in darkness and obscurity, may they be brought forth into the radiant sunshine and the joyous glory of the unfoldment of true spiritual goodness. Take a big deep breath in down to the belly. And exhale with a sigh, letting everything go. Anything that's bothering you, weighing you down, just let it go. Mindy, do you want to unmute yourself and say a little prayer to give gratitude for the masters that came before? Don't worry, I'm not going to call on the rest of you. Mindy's been doing this.
I did this with Jody for a year and a half now, every day. It's amazing. All right. Welcome, welcome all that are here with us. We welcome everyone to Mental Physics in this beautiful practice. We give thanks for all the Ascended Masters to make this possible for today. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks. Open our minds to learn more, to feel the truth within our beings, to feel the amazingness that we are, to feel our divinity, to feel the amazing truth that is all that has been passed down. Open our minds to let us be receptive to this amazing teachings. Let us hear the words, let us feel the words, let us embody the words, let us have an amazing adventure. Bless this time together, all that are here on this call and all of those that are watching. Lord, we just come in this presence with each other and we just give such thanks and give thanks and give thanks. Thank you for all the Ascended Masters. Come in. Fill us with your light, fill us with your wisdom. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks.
And so it is. Amen. Thanks, Mind. And now we imagine a great wall of golden light about us. Nothing can penetrate or pierce this light, as it holds us protectingly in its own essence. Above us, the higher ones in the great hierarchy of universal wisdom, holding over us a gossamer substance which forms a panoply under which we all rest together in the great peace. Within the circle there is wisdom, below the circle there is love. God is love.